All right, let's do a quick sound check, see if you guys can hear me.
Guys and girls, because I know Vanessa's in here. I'll update those things very soon. I'm not going to say first anymore.
My Mac speakers are working. Oh, you felt bad for Vanessa, didn't you? Going backwards.
Tonight I'm going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to do some different stuff tonight, and I realize that we have some new people coming into Discord channel, and with different strategies and different makeups. And I wanted to kind of do like a little bit of a strategy session with you guys tonight. So I hope that that's all right. It is a little bit different, but I think it will be helpful to kind of explain, and again, really understand what we have and what it's meant for, and where we could potentially be using it. I know some people are in Kanban and funding and this and that, and doing different types of things. But having kind of a discussion with one of the newer members that just joined. He's not actually a new member. He's kind of a renewed member. He was one of the 30-minute trader students and just came across, and actually a very talented guy. He actually joined last night. Some of you were talking with him in Discord. He's actually a moderator, or I guess a developer, an MT4 kind of programmer. And we were discussing something, and he actually put an indicator together that I am testing for the parabolic retracement. It just made me realize that we have a lot of different things that overlap, and there's different tools that we have. So want to do a little bit of Vanessa's like, I'm getting my notebook. Yeah, I want to do a little bit of a strategy session tonight. All right. So again, we're going to go through things normal. I'll go through strategy, and I'm going to click through pairs a little bit quicker, but I just think it'll be helpful to get kind of a bigger kind of landscape of things. I like to do this for my own personal trading every so often, just to make sure that I'm utilizing kind of all the skills and the knowledge that I have. So with that being said, let's kind of break down what we have obviously today, scanner wise, and then again we will look for tomorrow. Okay, and that way all the way backwards. Yeah, right. Ernest, I just want to know, does he have like one of those foot pedals like on the sewing machine? Like, is he pumping it so he has power that goes to it? That's what I want to know. You're at the old oil biz. Mm, but what language are you hearing Bryan in? Well, that's a good question too. All right, so first things first. Looking at the overall day, you guys can see not really a ton of movement. Again, like I said, didn't have a whole lot of economic data today. You had President Trump speaking, and again, that can either be an absolute explosion where nobody has any idea what's going on, or it could not be much. And again, as far as the currency markets go, at least you can see not really too much there, right? Um, and again, like I said, I mentioned last night, it was all going to depend on what he said, right? Everything else you can see, it's kind of just, it's kind of tepid across the board, right? You see euro dollar down, pound dollar down, dollar yen down, dollar Swiss down. So it's like, wait, is the dollar strong? Is the dollar weak? Or is everybody just bad? Like right now, literally in the last 24 hours, everything is down, right? Like how crazy is that? That everything on the board can be down, right? Um, about the only thing that's not up here is New Zealand. So the New Zealand's good, although it's retracing, but everything else is down. I mean, the pound yen at minus 37 again is nothing. Okay, now the Aussie has finally clicked to zero, but again, at one point just a little while ago, every single currency pair was down, which is it's kind of like whatever, right? So the big surprise today, obviously, was the official cash rate trains. Everybody had forecasted it was going to be a 0.25 drop, and they didn't drop it. They left it high. So that's probably an interesting press conference that's going on right now. It's not often that there is a forecasted drop and then it doesn't happen. A lot of times what you see is that there's a forecasted drop and it's only half. They wanted a 0.5 and they only got like a 0.25. That I would say that happens more often than them saying, "Hey, we're going to drop it." So it does some interesting things when we have that scenario. So the first thing that it does is there was a reason why the entire market thought that they were going to, obviously do that interest rate cut. And they didn't for whatever reason. But does that mean that next time we're guaranteed one? Because now it takes a lot of certainty out. What data were they seeing that was basically saying, hey, listen, we're not going to lower the interest rates, or, kind of now you got to kind of explain it. Why didn't you? I mean, the market assumed that you were. All the data said that you were going to. And then what happened? You didn't do it. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. And like I said, technically this would be considered a fundamental change, but at the end of the day, nothing actually changed. It's exactly the way that it was before the news release. So again, we are seeing a bit of a retracement now. Okay. And again, I think that the press conference should be pretty interesting. All right. Also looking in today, you can see it's unchanged at 1. Important for Japan to ensure that it has market trust as medium. Nothing really crazy there. Going down to the hottest stories, Trump, if we don't make a deal with China, we will substantially raise tariffs. Okay, whatever. It's kind of one of those things. It's like, eh, I don't know. I mean, and then again, 7 hours ago, you can see Trump says significant phase 1 deal could happen soon. So phase 1's going to happen, but then if we don't make a deal, it's like whatever. He's trying to play both sides of the you know, of the aisle, but at the end of the day, everybody knows that he's going to make a deal. Okay. Now, what's going to happen next is China's going to have to make some comment as well that they will sustain any type of additional tariffs and they will respond accordingly. So it's just going to be the banner back and forth, but I think that's all it is. It's just the banner. So, yeah, whatever. Um, yeah, we'll see. I think it's just junk. Um, Next, we're going to hear they got insurgents too. Oh, probably, yeah. Make me scream, move on. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's whatever, right? So yeah, what I this one's bad, this one's good, this one's indifferent. It's like they have no idea. Literally, it's just political. It's like you're not getting this for TV ratings. So it is what it is. So all we can look at is what we have going against tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we start off with CPI first thing in the morning for the pound. So let's go check. We'll check that one out. Again, US CPI after that at 8:30. So again, that's going to kind of set the morning off. And then you have Powell testifying. We'll see. I don't, if he'll say too much. But again, there could always potentially be something that he says. And then 2:10 we have some more New Zealand data. 5:50 a little something, and then 7:30 tomorrow night we have the unemployment change. So New Zealand was on focus today. Aussie will be on point tomorrow. So we got to make sure that we are prepared for that tomorrow. And again, it's expected not to move, but I have a feeling that something's going to be a little bit fishy with that one. It could be the employment changes more, but again, maybe it'll be the unemployment rate. We'll see. But I feel like just by the way that it's looking, that we're going to have some type of movement or some type of market reaction because of that in the Aussie. Like I said, a 100 pip move in the New Zealand is quite a move, right? That's quite large even for a miss. So I don't know. It looks like the money is out there. People are waiting to make some money, and when something is off, they're trying to make a lot of money on it. It's kind of hitting that instead of hitting single, 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 single. It just feels like the market is trying to hit home run, home run. No bat, no bat, no bat, no bat. If that makes sense. Okay. So with that being said, let's jump across into charts. Okay. Here's that one that I was talking about earlier. Actually, what we're gonna do first is we're going to do the special thing first, and then we'll do charts because we got through that first section. Actually, you know what? Let's do scanner first, and then we'll kind of go back to it. Actually, you know what? We're not going to do scanner first. We're going to come back to scanner. We're going to go across and do this. We're going to come back to scanner because scanner is actually based off of a strategy. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see this. I don't know if I can make this a little bit bigger. Let me see. Nope. I can make it bigger, but it's always going to keep it the same size. Oh, but wait, maybe I can do this. No, I can't. And if I could still type with it. Okay. A little bit better. All right, so making you dizzy. I'm trying, James. I'm trying. It's probably the fumes coming out the side of that Mac that's making you dizzy. Probably what it is. Just saying. All right, so there's a lot of different strategies that you guys know inside of this system. So what I figured would be cool tonight is if you guys start talking about different strategies that you know. Now they can be mine, if you want to put fibs in there. But what I'd like you to do is let's start naming some strategies. So just start putting the different strategies that we have here, the different strategies that we look at, and let's get them out there and let's discuss them because then what we can do is we can look at the charts and say, hey, listen, we can find this. What strategy would this match up? Where does this one match up? And again, I want you guys to kind of start opening your horizons to trading more than just one thing or more than just one style because there's different times. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay, this is no. I'm not ranking this as the best one. I'm just ranking this as one that's easy. And I'm going to type in here Sunday night gap. Okay, that's obviously a strategy that I'm a huge fan of, right? Obviously, that one is happening on Sunday nights. It's a strategy that hasn't been published in a class. It's something that I've taught basically inside of different chart schools for the last 2.5 years that I've been doing them. When is it used? Obviously, it's used over on Sunday nights. It's a kind of an overnight strategy. Obviously, we use kind of smaller time frames to set up. We focus on gaps. It doesn't happen every weekend, but it's a specific time. And again, when does it happen? Sunday nights at the open. It can be traded with Nadex or with spot currency. Okay, and gives you the ability to trade a couple different ways. Okay, you can use. I stole yours again. Can use spot FX as well as Nadex spreads. You could actually technically use touch brackets on it as well if you really wanted to when you get that bit of a pullback. All right, so there's one example of kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, I'll type him out and I'll kind of give you guys the commentary on him. Again, one of the kind of arrows in your quiver, right? If I wanted to find kind of an arrow, I don't know, how can I do that? Let's see here. Photos, arrows. No, I want like real arrows. There we go. There, I'm gonna put that over there. All right, arrows in your quiver. Is there a better one? All right, somebody else give me another one. Just keep typing them out there, guys. Different strategies, and I'll lay them out. Ah, that one's much better. There we go. Stick this right here. All right, what do we got here? Zone to zone. I don't know that one. That's not one I use. 5-minute Nadex. All right, so 5-minute binaries. Okay, that one's actually pretty easy. So let's do 5-minute binary. Okay, 5-minute binary is obviously something that we could trade throughout the day, right? Actually, let's label them out first, and then I'll do it. Fibs, right? Again, big Jack's a very close friend. So again, we'll throw fibs in there. Okay, again, a lot of you trade them, a lot of you use them. And again, with fibs, we'll talk about, halfway backs and that kind of stuff. It's just easier just to talk about just fibs in general, so we won't go super crazy. Parabolic retracements, obviously number 4. Okay. Number 5, engulfing candlestick on major zone. Nadex butterfly, sure. Five-minute buy. Trend. Sunday night gap. Let's see. Wick over Rick is basically supply and demand. Okay. Supply and demand is kind of what the scanner is for, right? Well, I guess supply and demand is kind of I will leave supply and demand, and then we'll use trend trader because that's kind of that's what I kind of call like that actual setup. Trend market supply and demand is trend slash channel. Okay, what else we got here? Yeah, that's not a real thing. Overnight trend. Okay, trend, which is obviously trend. You guys are missing new breakout, right? Trading. You guys are missing What else we got in there? We got butterfly. We got supply and demand. Again, wick over wick levels. That's inside of supply and demand. Here, I'll even put it there. Supply and demand. Basically, out of there. Anything else? These are all the strategies that you guys should know by being part of the community. Fibs, I don't teach the fibs anymore. But again, enough of you kind of get it from Jack. And again, I have that much desire for fibs, I can always ask Jack to put a course together for us. Okay. Okay, what else we got? I thought everyone just traded signals and then you buy from Mr. Raymond on the internet. I don't know who Mr. Raymond is, but nope. You guys know I'm not a big signal person. I don't like signals. So anything else, guys, or is that everything? That's 10. That's not a bad list, right? We have all three. We have this, let's see. We have news, we have trend, we have butterfly. We have the 5-minute binaries. We have the parabolic retracements. There's this one as well. You guys, there's this one. It's quarter / round number, right? Okay, there's that one. You guys don't fully know that one yet, but again, that's one that I have basically that needs to be recorded. Anything else? So, oh, Mr. Raymond, Mr. Head, Mr. John, yeah. So, said, let's see, can I make this a little bigger? Slide out of this, right? Actually, I'll put this up here. Guys, slide building with Bryan. Better than the the slow jams at 9. All right, so set up, ready to go. Okay, and all these different things here are different trading styles that you can kind of combine together. Obviously, there's a couple news ones in here. I mean, obviously, if you want to pair this one here, we'll change this one to that color green, and we'll change this. Not dark enough. Let's do it. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so those are obviously two news-based strategies, right? Okay. Then we can go into trend, and again, we have short-term plays, right? So trend is really here, right? That would be trend. Overnight is trend. Trend trader, which again is kind of the forex class. You have this supply and demand, which is not so much trend. Fibs is obviously kind of retracement / trend. Okay, 5-minute is trend based. This is not. That's a special exception. Obviously, this is sideways. And again, I wouldn't quite say it's trend. So basically, we have. Let's add text. We will do this trend here. Whoops. See why I'm doing this in a second. Here, orange. We will another subheadline, and we'll here. This one we will call news. You guys will get it in 1 second. I get it now. Okay, there's news, and then the rest I would say they're all kind of special exceptions. There, we'll just do it that way. There's no such thing as level to level. I love when people talk about that. It's a huge joke that Jack and I have together. He's like, yeah, it's level and level. Just keep drawing them on the chart, and eventually one will stop. All right, so The reason why I'm putting this together for you guys right now is a lot of you are trying to figure out times when you're going to trade and what kind of strategies you're going to use. So depending on what's going on, if you are limited on time, news is one thing that you definitely should be looking for. Again, 24 hours, 24-hour mark under that one. What you're going to start doing is you're going to start combining maybe parabolic retracements. But here's the thing. Could you start with news breakouts? Could you start with this first? Sure. You could use news breakout before, and then if it does have big movement, you make some money. And then on the flip side, what do you do? Then you take advantage of a parabolic retracement. So it's kind of like doing kind of like a 1-2 punch, right? So over here, let's see a little bit. I'll just do one of these. Can I copy this? Take this over here, right? Combo trades. So we have parabolic reach. Let's say we do news breakout / PR. Change this one. Okay, now question is, and again, I want everybody to answer this and be honest. Okay, I want every single one of you guys to answer it. Okay, everybody knows what news is. How many of you can honestly say that you are trading this combination right now? That you are not only looking for the news breakout, but then you're also looking for the retracement. So that's a question I would have. James, you're trading the before and the after? Not just one? This is what I'm going to get at. Again, not to pick you out. I know you do it on some of them, but I don't know if you do it on all of them, right? But there's one combo right there. Okay. Okay, and again, very powerful combo. Now, could you also add into this, if it's the right pair and if it's the right time? They're not clicking. Come on. Could you also add into this the 5-minute if you wanted to make a little bit more out of it? Or could that same retracement go into trending? And how many of these different things over here are also dealing with the supply and demand? Essentially the whole number trader. So what I want you guys to think when you're building your trade, and again, I'm going to bring up different things. I'm going to keep going back to this tonight when we talk about different trades and what you could potentially use there. Because one of the things that I find helpful for people is when you see a setup, I can say, yeah, we could potentially be turning around here, but I don't always go over this of how you would, potentially use these things. Okay, so I want you guys to, again, think about the butterflies. How much stuff have we had that have stayed within a tiny little area, right? So again, has there been butterfly plays? Yeah. Do I talk about it often? No, not really. Right? But again, still valid. Okay, all the Sunday nights are obviously gone, but there's so many Sunday night plays right now. One of them in particular that I was looking at earlier, check New Zealand out. Okay, let's extend this same gap all the way across. And again, how about that? Okay, how about that? From the Sunday night gap. So not only did it go back up and grab more orders, again, what do I tell you guys about gaps? Gaps are valid zones, and we saw it not only hit here, and then it just kept bouncing. So could you have put a stop somewhere around here before news? And in fact, what did it do? You guys can see right here on this 30-minute candle, what happened? Price actually pulled back to the same gap zone that was created before. And what did price do? Whoop, all the way back up. Okay. So again, I want you guys to do well with this. I want you guys to kind of combine multiple different things here all at one time. And again, that was a Sunday night gap play that led us into news. Again, couldn't really trade this one with a news breakout per se, obviously with Nadex because it's not a Nadex-based pair, but you could have done it with spot currencies as well, taking this to the top side. Maybe a little bit more risk because obviously, again, spreads widen, things could jump with something like that. But at the end of the day, nice little move up. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to go through pairs, and we're going to kind of go back again. Yep, it came right off the gap zone. All right. All right, so where we are on this pair, again, we basically bounced back off again. We came back down, and what do we do? We're basically sitting in a demand zone. Okay, nothing's really changed. Again, gave us another gray. We're looking for some type of a pullback in this trade, and again, looking for a good valid area. It kind of pulled back. Obviously 3 o'clock this morning, it had a little bit of a bump into a level of basing, but how much did it really move for the day? Not too much. And where we're sitting right now, you guys can see we have this kind of level of basing here, and that's where we're at. So it's kind of a situation where, again, would we want to sell into this one? No, probably not, because again, we're sitting in an area of demand. We don't want to necessarily do that. Selling in demand is always a bad deal, right? But what can we do? We could potentially set up one of this one, right? Harry Potter, right? A momentum breakout to the downside. What does that look like? Okay, grab your chart, figure out your drawing tool and start looking for this, okay, for your projections. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of different ways you could find this. If you want to combine this with fibs, you could also do that. Okay. Now, we do have some areas I expected to bounce off of. If we push through, most likely I think we're going to kind of bounce off of this area. I wouldn't be surprised if it does push through, bounce off this, come up and touch it, and then look for a break to the downside. And again, where would the target be? Most likely down here in the 73.80 area. Okay. So we're only looking for about 50 pips to the downside, but not a bad little trade setup. Okay. And again, multiple ways you can take this. With Aussie news tomorrow, I'm really kind of hoping this thing just flatlines right here. I would love to be in this zone for the Aussie news and then take a breakout to the top side of the bottom, depending on, how much we've been able to either push through or pull back up again. Okay. Again, not really a bad trade setup on that. For tonight, again, you guys can see one thing I also wanted to point out as well. You guys see this spike right here, this green spike? This green spike was the New Zealand news. Is New Zealand in this pair? No, but why did this one move? Well, two things. One, it was in a demand zone, but two, again, what happens in New Zealand happens in Australia. Okay, so again, that's what gave us this nice pop to the top side. And then again, what is it doing? It's turning and retracing back down again. And it's faster because it's not the same country. Okay. So again, some stuff we could have done there. Looking at the Aussie New Zealand, this is one that Ernest was actually looking at earlier, and you guys can see where this one went. Okay. Now, this one did not give us the same type of spike up beforehand. It was actually already starting to drop, which means somebody probably knew this one ahead of time. But looking at where we were, okay, before today, we were in what? We were pulling back in a downtrend based off of a bounce into a higher level demand zone. So it was pushing down, pulled back up again, based, again, just a little bit higher, a little bit of a failure to go higher, got super close and didn't, and then just launched to the downside. So couple different things you could have done on this one. Again, you're seeing it continue to push down. Not necessarily surprised at that one. Again, it's funny, it's pushing down, but you're also seeing, the Aussie kind of pull back. So this one there's a couple different pairs with influence on this one, but obviously this trade is over at this point. I'd wait for it to kind of push through, but I think it'll level out. All right. Looking at Aussie dollar. Okay, Aussie dollar, very, very similar as well. What did it do? It did this nice spike up, and where did it spike into? Again, right here. Okay. Now, this spike up, let's see, you're talking about only about 24, so not a ton, right? But it's already retraced all the way back down within that time. So in less than an hour, we were able to get the full retrace all the way back to the bottom. Now, we're back sitting on that yellow line, okay, that yellow golden line in there, again, where the arrow is kind of pointing over here. And again, this is an area that we saw some basing here. We had this little pop, this little sideways movement, and pop again. Okay, so again, this is using some of what we've learned in the forex class. So again, we were talking about basically supply and demand, understanding where things are, right? Understanding where buyers and sellers are. In this pair, okay, again, was there any type of a gap here? Nothing we really need to talk about. Why? Because it's been, just kind of grinding slowly. Now, this is one of those pairs that what have we had since basically last Thursday? Okay, or I guess it's Tuesday, last Tuesday, right? Here's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so there's Friday. Here is Sunday. What have we had since Sunday? Just a grind. Now, this is basically overnight trend trader, right? We're pushing back down again. It's only moved 20 pips, so it's actually been very, very slow. So while it is still pushing to the downside, looking at Forex Factory, right? If I drag Forex Factory in, what type of news was there in this pair? I mean, Wednesday there's a little bit, right? A little bit here, but wage index is not really a big one. What about here? Nothing really. So again, 2 days of no kind of, no movement. What could you have been trading? Well, you could have been trading butterflies on this one. You could have put some type of position to the downside. Okay, it's not a touch bracket pair, so you're not trading it there. Could you have traded, for some of these moves here? You're looking at the lower time frames. Could we have traded some stuff? Sure. We can go down to a 5-minute. What about this? Okay. Check this one out. Okay, how big is the spread differential? Okay, these are 5 minutes, and they're how far apart? How many pips? 2, right? 2 pips apart. Okay, so go back to the chart, and what have we done basically since we hit inside of a 5-minute candle? So how many of these, right? Since this new spike has happened, how many of these? Again, the average one in here. Say this is this is the average, right? That average move is 3 pips, which is over 1 strike price differential inside of that 5-minute period, and they all seem like they spike back and forth. But even and let's just take this at a basic level, based off of this retracement, a parabolic retracement, yes. Again, price skyrocketed. It went into a zone that we were looking to get into. And again, that was off the 30. Nice little zone that it popped into. What has it done? It's retraced back. So if you took your skills from parabolic retracement, combine that with what we know about the 5-minute trader program. Again, these are 5-minute candles. How many of these candles, had you just basically gotten in at the entry, could you have won on? Well, 1, 2, this one probably not. We're not going to give you that one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, probably 12 as far as it spiked down. So basically 12 winners, and we'll say what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losers. Not a bad win to loss ratio. So again, combining your parabolic spike at night in the A's in session with not a lot of people trading, taking a slow retracement back again to the point of the move, the origin of the move. And how much did it actually move? You're talking about a total of 20 pips in that time frame. But how many times could you have taken this position to the downside? And again, maybe your goal was only to make $200 a day or $300 a day. Well, great. Here, 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 and here. And maybe if you took a loss on this one, here. You made your money back in 30 minutes, halfway through the move. So you guys see how you're able to stack multiple things on top of each other? Okay. I'm sure somebody's scratching their head right now like, didn't think about that one, because you guys are really, really quiet. So either my volume is cut out or James's Mac blew up. One of the two, right? So again, this is using, okay, understanding this is what? Well, it's 5-minute binaries, right? Let's see. Let me see. I do have elements. I should put this one. That one's pretty funny. I was just looking for like an arrow or a check or something. Let's look at arrows. Give me some arrows. This is a good one. So this one. All right, so in this case, we use this. Sure. We use that. We use that. Line demand. And you could have used this one if you really needed to. But again, we won't get too crazy. I'll just leave it at 3. Okay. 2-hour window on AP. Trying to type on the nice. But you see, guys, what we did here? Again, it's about why multiple different strategies are important. Okay. Now, again, could we have come across and, again, could you have done some of these and taken advantage of this and looked at these? Sure. Right. You could have done, we had to do 8 to 10. But you can see the same difference here. These are 4 pips. Right? So yes, a little bit more gives yourself a little bit more time, a little bit further out of the money. But could you have done the same thing? Yeah, it's the exact same thing. No different. Okay, same strategies using the 2-hour. Again, 2 hours. Again, it moved 20 pips, so you move 5 strike prices. Right, from here all the way down to here. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically almost 6. Right, if you count the at the money. So same deal. Again, if you want to wait that long, or just use the smaller ones. Right. Again, on this one, I could have dropped down and gone to the 2 minutes. You guys can see a little bit choppier, but how many spikes did you need down, right? Spike. I mean, this is just boom here, but again,
All the wicks. We just need it to go down. Again, if you're not going to hold it until expiration, if you're using out of the money, easier to grab. Okay. So again, 5 minute, 2 hour, no different. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's look across the pound Aussie. All right. What do we have going here? Not much. Again, you can see a small body. Again, a little bit of kind of bouncing back and forth again. I wouldn't say anything's really moved. This was a target before, and we're really just kind of hugging this thing to the top and bottom. Kind of bouncing back and forth. Let me bring this back up to 30-minute. You guys can see we go above, we go below, we go back to the same area, drop again, go back high, back low. So again, we're kind of sitting inside of a, again, more or less kind of a sideways channel like this, right? So nothing fantastic to look at, right? Just literally bouncing back and forth. And we're talking about 60 pip zone if you want to, you want to pull tops and bottoms, but literally it's just been, back and forth. And the big question is, for 60 pip zone, is it worth risking, 4 to 5 pips on it? I don't know. Don't necessarily love it. Like I said, it's definitely high. I'm definitely more bearish, but this bottom side's been holding pretty well on it. Okay, so again, we are at the top side right now. Maybe drop it down, see if you can get a confirmation if you want to get something. The big reason I didn't like this one is, again, it took forever to go down, grind, bounced right off this great buying zone, and then kind of push back up again. And on the 4 hour, you guys can see it's sitting back in this area where price hit here, drop, hit, and then finally blew through. And now we're kind of messing with that same level here, right around the 188.00. Okay, so it's definitely been an area where sellers have stepped in the past to push this thing down. And again, I don't think anything has really fundamentally changed with the pound that can control this. We have good Aussie data tomorrow. That's going to be kind of the trigger to head back down to the downside. Okay. Looking at euro pound. So euro pound did come back up. It did retrace. Okay. On the daily, it really didn't move a ton, and it's kind of the same situation. We had spiked down to here yesterday at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then price kind of rallied back up again and pushed higher. It got stuck. Like you guys can see, it pushed in, and it kind of got just above these two, wicks before coming back down again, but it really hasn't left the area. I mean, here's, if I draw a line, you guys can see, this is where, I'll just use horizontal because it's easier, right? There's where the low is, and look what we're hitting on. Okay, so there's obviously buyers down there. They keep pushing this price back up again. And even right now, I mean, look, back till basically noon, the price hasn't moved at all. Okay, so we had from 4 o'clock yesterday till about noon today was the only movement we had. Flat, a little pop down, and flat. So not really enough really to trend here. Like I said, I'm ready for, I'm ready back for those days, this kind of stuff. This thing has the ability to move, but it's just been kind of stuck. And again, we're running into a lot of demand. So definitely be looking for more kind of bearish thing or bullish things in this position. Again, I'd like us to get a little bit lower. I'm going to erase that because that's not part of his zone. If we can get back down here, again, I think that'll be good. I'd like to take that to, again, start getting a bit of a retracement back on the top side, but I need to move down a little bit more, right? Need a little bit more oomph in that one. Okay, looking at euro yen. Oh, speaking of that, by the way, because this one is moving so much, do you have the ability to trade another strategy on here potentially, right? What strategy could you potentially trade on a pair like this that's just not moving? Right? What could you potentially trade here? And look, this is, I mean, we're talking about really from here. So this is, 2 o'clock in the afternoon till now. This one has moved 6 pips. Butterflies, right? Sideways strategy. It's moved 6 pips total in what? 12 hours, almost 13 hours. It's 12 hours and 59 minutes. So again, think low volatility. Again, you got to make sure that it makes sense, right? Because again, you got to make sure that there's enough volatility there for us to sell against. If there's not, again, then it's not worth it, right? But it's still something you should be looking at. If you're not looking at it, again, that's a problem. Okay. Make sure you're thinking sideways market. Is there a butterfly trade that I should be looking at? Okay. You guys should have no shortage of trade setups to look at there. So going across, let's look at euro yen. So euro yen finally breached that zone, right? We were talking about this golden area. We were waiting for, price to kind of come lower and bounce back up to that. And it did. We talked about here there wasn't enough. And again, if I extend this blue line, and I'm not going to cheat, I'll leave the line there. Okay. I will use Hey, come on, give me the thing. Why is it not? Why it's not giving me that? So, there being the area, so it makes sense. Did we have enough of a kind of pullback into it? Yeah, we kind of did, right? But what did it do? It pulled all the way back. It hit about, super late last night. It came back up, grabbed the basing level that we went to, and then drove all the way back down again. So it's kind of pushed. It's kind of cleared this area. So, again, we did get some pullbacks, but not really a really great area to kind of grab in this one. It did go back up and grab the legitimate, orders up top. Okay, so now it's pushed lower. Okay, we are through that area, and we got to be wondering what's next in this pair. Okay, now this pair is not moving because of the euro. This pair is moving because of the yen right now. We are downtrend confirmed. Okay, if we continue and kind of connect this and don't deal with the gap, obviously the signals make sense, but it's continuing to push to the downside. So again, something that we need to focus on. All right. Now, one of the things that I didn't pull up, and I'll just drag it across right now, is the scanner. Okay. This is another thing that I use the scanner for is if you look at all the euro pairs, again, euro always has to be first. Okay, besides euro, Aussie, euro, CAD, which again are two kind of smaller pairs, what trend are you guys seeing right now on the euro? Okay, we see a lot of weakness. We see some downtrend setups on two different time frames, both on the daily as well as the 4-hour. So this is kind of screaming to me like, hey, the euro, we just have weakness across the board. We have sideways down confirmed even on kind of lesser pairs. There's a little bit of a a retest. What are we getting into? Are there any areas of supply, or I'm sorry, demand below that I need to be cautious about that could be signaling a turn for us? So then going back, and again, euro yen, you guys can see, obviously we're pulling upward an anchor break on the 1 hour to the top side. Not as worried about that one because it's at night, but then downtrend set up on both positions. So looking at those, where are we pulling back? Okay, we're pulling back. Let me remove this gold. Look what we just happen to have right above where we are now. So here's a potential way that I can get into this position. I don't know why this one is broken today. Let's see if this fixes it. When in doubt, refresh. Say downtrend setup. Sellers, right? Risk is small. And is it falling into something right now? No. Go back, we can see that price has been all the way down here, at least. And it's pushed all the way down into kind of where we saw the the demand area here. So kind of looking at a trade setup like this, potentially of that. Now, how can we play that one? We're able to get up to that zone. Again, it depends on what time of day. But again, this area here is at 120.16. So a couple things that you can do. Again, we could look for out of the money binaries, right? We can go across. We can look at call spreads. And what is this one again? And what did I say? Where did I say that was? We're looking at the 120.16-ish area. Okay, so it looks like we're at 120 here, and that's about the best one. So it looks like those would be out, right? Because 120 would be where the strike is, which is kind of where we are right here. So again, not really the best. But if we get something, on the lower time frame, we could potentially look at a spread. So in this one, doesn't make sense to, go spread wise. We'd be looking at a binary on this one if we're able to get up into that zone. Now, obviously right now we're a bit too far away from it, but again, start looking for some of the smaller pairs in here and what news can potentially be affecting it. If we do get a pull up to that area, though, I actually kind of do like that zone, just by the way it was formed on this candle. Again, it doesn't look like much on the 30-minute, but on the 4-hour, not bad risk. And let's see how much is it. Yeah, you're talking about 7 pips. Oops, an alert just went off. Hold on. On your yen. Oh, that's why, because your yen is rallying right now. So, with that being said, let me show you guys something else. But wait, there's more.
So remember I mentioned that we had a new student that kind of just joined. He's not a new student, but he's kind of a renew student. And I told you he's a programmer. So he is here is an indicator that he programmed up, kind of testing the parabolic retracement setup. Okay. Um, the histogram at the bottom is basically just based off of this chart, but it's still nice as a visual. But what you guys can't see really easy is this piece over here, okay? This is a scanner that covers all the majors, and again, he can obviously put anything he wants into it, but it covers all the majors, and it actually sends an alert when one of the pairs breaks the ATR requirement for the entry, okay? You guys can see. I've been testing it today, and you guys can see it's broken it multiple times, and I've been pretty good about it, right? You guys can see how many different times today. Now, again, think about this. If you know when the news release is and you have an alert that will email you when it breaks and gives you one of these things, you don't actually have to be at the computer. You can just get the email and say, hey, something just broke. And again, he customized this that we can actually change it. You guys can see in here the input. I can change it to different parameters based off those fields. So again, this guy's a student and kind of put this together and told me to go test it. We have very, very talented people in Discord. I got to say I'm extremely appreciative for this. Give me the opportunity to test this for the strategy. But again, great kind of stuff this way. Again, use the technology. All right. So again, you could have taken the news breakout. Again, obviously a little bit harder because it's not an index pair, but you guys see the power of that? Look at that. Those are all the big kind of spikes, but here's the news-based one. Whoop, there you go. The yen is breaking it again. So let me pull that out. Let's go back over to the yen and see what we have. Yeah. So you guys can see the yen is rallying right now. It's 849 or 949. It's not going to be based off of that. Let's see if there's anything going on over here. Nothing right now. So yeah, there's something going on with the yen. It's probably the bank doing some stuff. But again, nice little spike. It's nice to know those things. It's almost our area. Pretty cool, right? I wonder if we develop something for Mac users. I don't know. Do you have MT4? Because it's an MT4 indicator. All right. So that's what on this pair. Let's look at euro dollar. Okay. While the euro yen is moving, is the euro dollar moving? No. I mean, slightly, right? I mean, going back here, this is a 30-minute candle. Look how large it is. Going back over here, is this giving us the same setup? No. Okay, again, it's pretty much flat. And same situation. This is a warning message, right? What are we in? We're in a demand zone. Price is driving down. It's pushed into it, and now it's kind of flatlined, gone sideways. Nothing there. I'd really love a spike on this one. I'd love a spike back up into somewhere we can start selling. But right now, I'm not willing to go short in this position, and nothing tells me that it's ready to go long yet, right? Have we gotten any type of green, red, green over here? No, we've seen no confirmation on the top side. The red always comes back and touches it, so the market actually doesn't even know, right? It's just purely sideways. When it's sideways, again, you could trade this one. If we do top to bottom for really what it's been focusing and what it's been staying in, we're talking about 5 pips in 19 hours. So again, you got to think, okay, butterflies, okay, potential sideways movement on that one. Looking at pound yen, I wonder if he'll develop something for Mac. Yeah, I mean it's on MT4. So if you have MT4, you can load it on MT4. Okay. What about pound yen? Is pound yen moving? I mean, it does when I stretch it out like that, sure. Okay. But what have I mentioned in this one? I want it to go higher. Has it been able to go higher? No, we're still stuck inside of the same window. So again, here's kind of the top and bottom of the channel. If you continue to stretch this across that same basing area, still in? Yeah. This one actually broke slightly at the bottom, right? Still stuck inside of the same area. Okay, so you guys can see from here, this way, across for 19 hours, was actually 20 hours right there. The price in the same exact area. So again, with no catalyst, gotta think butterfly. Okay, another butterfly example. Looking at pound dollar. Pound dollar, again, we had this one little pop. Oop, we just got another one. The euro dollar now is moving, which again, it's obviously starting to catch up. Level, we talked about this yesterday, right? Talked about, hey, listen, we spiked high, we can go south. They kind of flatline here, but where would we run into problems? Inside of this basing level right there, okay? What did we do? We ran right into the basing area. The pop, sideways pop. And again, what class does this come in? This class would be based off of this one. It would be, you could use the parabolic retracement. It was a supply and demand. This one you could also use, let's see, we started this, there's Monday, Tuesday into Tuesday morning early. So this one completed at 6 a.m. this morning. So what is this one? It would also be the overnight trend trader. Okay. So there's your 3 there. Now, could you be switching with butterfly? Sure. And again, I'm not hitting any of the fibs because I don't have any of the draws up, but you could absolutely be doing that as well. Okay. Oops. And again, this was a Monday night, not a Sunday, but again, this is an overnight trend trade. Basically retracing based off supply and demand, kind of going back. Again, it's not parabolic retracement, that would be all the way down, but it does, again, it is a new spike. It did kind of combine off that one, although it was kind of a new spike, but not really necessarily a data figure. Okay. Also, if you look at this one, you guys can also see this one was also a Sunday night gap. So now let me put that over there as well. That would be here. Actually, I can just do paste, right? Yeah, paste, Sunday night gap. So you guys can see how there's multiple strategies up on the same chart. Okay, another one. All right. So New Zealand, you guys already know what happened. We've kind of looked at New Zealand a couple times. Okay. Then kind of trying to fight, right? Pulled back and is trying to fight, although it's been an ugly fight, right? We'll see how that one goes, especially when U.S. traders come online. And again, you have dollar Swiss. Okay. Dollar Swiss, what is it doing? Okay. Well, we had the bounce here on Friday. We kind of pushed down. Here was Monday morning. We pushed up. We grabbed some more orders sitting inside of that wick over wick. You guys can right there. And it's going to continue to push. Drove nicely all the way down, and again, Sunday night gap play, rally all the way back down to the last time we had a really, really clean level in here. It ended up hitting, it went sideways before the basing level. Actually, I guess if I just drawn off here, but let me do a different color on this one, but you guys can see, boom. Finally eating through that zone. And again, now we're inside of the larger 4-hour. Again, if you wanted to refine this one, I drew that there is because single wick against a wall, and now so at the very, very bottom, don't have any confirmation that we're going higher. Again, it's bouncing off of a zone, so I'm not necessarily willing to just go long in it because it hit an area of basing. Again, went off that higher time frame, pushing to the downside. Okay. Where this one is at, actually, I would expect maybe a bit of dollar weakness tomorrow. Interesting kind of where it's setting up. It is on, you can see this on the daily and the 4-hour. The one thing I don't like, excuse me, about the daily, I'm sorry, the 4-hour, is it spent so much time here, right? Talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 candles, 12 4-hour candles it spent there. So again, I don't know that it's the strongest level, but if we do take somewhat of a bounce, not necessarily surprised off this one. All right, again, that would require some dollar strength tomorrow. Looking at dollar CAD. Dollar CAD again rallied slightly. Okay, nothing huge. Looking at forex factor on this one, you can see it's up basically. I mean, we're back negative again at 0.1. We were up positive just slightly. Again, what do we have? Big push down, big push back up again. Hasn't really left the area. Again, you guys can see the bodies are getting much, much smaller. And this was that prior zone we talked about. It pushed up, it cleared, it came down. Again, this was that kind of retracement, or the momentum breakout through the top side, kind of bounced down, went higher, came back down again, pushed up. So it really, since it made this initial push over here on Friday, we haven't really gone far. We've kind of gone down a little bit, up a little bit, down, but it really hasn't given us any type of trend. And again, looking at tomorrow with CPI data, I expect there'll be some movement with this one. Okay, like I said, the CPI comes in, gives us some good strength. A couple of these trades are going to really kind of break through, and this would give us a push back up. Like I said, I mentioned it yesterday. I am looking for this thing to come back up into this 133 area, which is like right in here. I have that for a target for this week, and we'll see. It's only about 60 pips from where we are right now, so I definitely think we're within striking distance, especially with a good bit of news movement. Now, this is one tomorrow morning that what can we trade? Okay. This one tomorrow, we could potentially trade a fib, right, for an extension. We could trade a parabolic retracement. We can do supply and demand. Overnight, I probably wouldn't do it, but I would do this one here, right? And whole number, I'm not, because I haven't explained that I'm not pointing that one out. So fibs and whole number, I haven't really mentioned, but it's another one. Technically, it's actually lining up for that one as well. Okay. So multiple different combinations. Now, with that being said, could you trade all these tomorrow? Could you trade this combo tomorrow morning? Yeah, oil's not till Thursday because Monday you were off. Okay. Now, here's something else too. If you are awake, the same combo that you could do the news breakout, the parabolic retracement, and or the 5-minute or the 2-hour binaries afterwards. Again, if you wanted to take advantage of that short term, okay. Could you use that for the pound CPI? Sure. Could you use it for this one? Sure. And could you do it for here tomorrow night before chart school? Yes. So you have 3 opportunities tomorrow to use this combo with 3 different trading strategies. Okay. And again, what are the chances that all 3 are going to miss? Okay. Well, this one we know that, it misses pretty often, right? So that one didn't work. Then we go to the CPI data for the United States, and this one isn't crazy, right? But the core, which people look at, misses a lot. Okay. So again, another opportunity there. And then later on that night, you have these 2. Okay. Again, this one, fairly decent, right? Misses pretty often. The unemployment rate, again, they tend to be off as well. So you have 6 different opportunities tomorrow to use those exact trading strategies right here. Just these 3, right? Just the before, the retracement if it moves, and then whether 5-minute, again, if you're going to use the 5-minute on the reversal or just the trend of it, you could do that as well. Okay? And again, combine that with the supply and demand aspect of it. I gave you more homework. All right, so that's that. Let's look at dollar yen. Okay, where's dollar yen? Came up, we tickled this top piece, and again, it has, as you can see, it just basically is flat. Okay, again, without any news, nothing. I'm not really expecting too much there. CPI will be a good one, and again, if you guys are not familiar with CPI, again, download that book. CPI is important because inflation, right here. Okay, because rising, right here. Everything you need to know about this trade tomorrow. Okay, so again, rates in the United States are actually very, very low. If we're not seeing inflation creep in, it's okay to see rates, this low. If inflation is starting to creep higher, that's when they start to worry and say, maybe we need to put a little bit of a dampener on the economy. I mean, markets are all-time high. Raising rates is going to hurt them a little bit, but how much is it really going to hurt them? And again, nothing's been solved with China. Once China is solved, again, where do you think the market's going to go? Nowhere but up, right? So it's kind of one of those things. If we're able to hold this now and keep it like this, and there's no inflation, man, it's going to go crazy, right? Things are going to go crazy. Yeah. It's so funny, Ernest. You love non-farm for Australia, but you hate non-farm for the United States. It's so funny how that works out. You have such a love-hate relationship with those 2 different trades, right? So that's where we are tomorrow. So areas I'd be looking for tomorrow, again, this first zone is obviously chopped up. We can just take this out just for, analysis purposes. There's no point in keeping it there anymore. We'll take it out. So at this point, we have 2 levels up top. And do we have any good levels on the bottom? We have this piece here, and there's some descending candles, right? Again, this wick over wick is pretty clean, right? There's not a bad, that's not a bad little kind of potential for a spike and a retrace tomorrow, right? Let's see, that's 60 pips away. So that's valid for a CPI number. Okay, if we have a pretty decent miss, again, that could give us the spike down 60 down. And how far are we from up? Oops. Yeah, about 55 up. So again, we're kind of smack in the middle there. That's not a bad I don't know what that one is. There. So again, being in the middle, again, look for top and bottom inside of a spike. Play the retracement on that one. I hate non-farm payroll. There are days you do good on non-farm though, Ernest. You keep saying you hate it, but there are days that you do good with it, man. So you better stop, better stop all the hate over there. I was trying to keep up with the chat today, and Vanessa. I saw Vanessa talking about how she's bringing some sage. She's gonna ward off your evil spirits and negativity. Like I was dying. She's cracking me up today. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna ward his demons off." So, um, yeah, it's kind of all we got on this one. There's not a whole lot set up. Like I said, smaller time frame. You guys can see we are at a level of basing, so it is running to that. So I won't be surprised if it does kind of start pushing to the downside. I don't think it'll get much lower though than 108.94. Well, really down here, the 108.90 area. You were just gonna say that. Ernest is in trouble. James is like, I'm using a Mac now, Vanessa. Don't get me too. All right, so that's that one. So let me go back now and let's go through the scanner. Let me go to the actual here. So a view for overnight, right? He's a hooker. A lot of stuff is going sideways. Catalyst for today, but again, with the U.S. and the pound having data tomorrow, we have the pound dollar in an uptrend, kind of confirmed up, and again, we're seeing that across the board. So we're seeing pound strength. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback on the 1 hour, but again, we'll have to see what that runs into. Dollar CAD, again, you're seeing a little bit dollar strength. We're looking for 133 here. Obviously, New Zealand, New Zealand dollar, we know what's going on with the New Zealand dollar and the CAD, or I'm sorry, the New Zealand dollar. Obviously, we just had great news for them, and yet it is still kind of going up confirmed. And you guys can even see that when you had the downtrend confirm, the downtrend anchor break, right? So again, definitely this is a bullish position, but it's running into that supply zone. So we saw that one. Yeah, we just talked about that pair. Dollar Swiss again, kind of conflicting signals, but it looks like this one's starting to get more negative. It was running into a demand zone, so we'll see if we can have some dollar strength tomorrow with that CPI number. Look for that one for a potential trade. Obviously, the euro down setup, it's pulling back on both pairs. We're seeing that exactly, kind of pulling back, looking for it to push. Again, CPI will drive this number tomorrow. This is actually what I'll be looking for first thing in the morning. Aussie, again, you're seeing breaks. Again, obviously, we know why this one, we just had that data come out. So again, the uptrend is obviously broken on multiple time frames. Looking at the euro pairs. The euro pairs, for the most part, are showing weakness. Obviously, there's no European data tomorrow. So, again, that may be a pair to trade against for anybody that has news. Again, that would be basically the euro pound as well as the euro dollar tomorrow. Could be good ones to kind of set up. Looking at pound pairs, you can see pound pairs are kind of mixed, but we are seeing some strength. Tomorrow morning, CPI is supposed to be about what it was previously. The previous was 1.7. The forecast is 1.6. So it's kind of right there. They're not really seeing too much. I'm not actually expecting that one to be a huge miss. If it does, I don't see it being anything too super surprising. They've been holding on pretty well. It's not like they lowered interest rates or have been mentioning interest rates at all, and they've been keeping themselves out of a recession because of consumers. Actually, the consumer numbers have actually been really good over there, which is surprising that they're continuing to buy and stuff. So, and I actually think the numbers will be pretty good on that one. I think they'll coincide with some of the other numbers because I know a lot of people last time were saying that with Brexit coming to a close, we don't know what's happening and it could get bad. It could get good or it could get bad. So they were buying a lot of stuff in an environment that they knew. So that should be carrying over to what we see now based off of, obviously Brexit supposedly ending last month, before it got extended and continued. So just be careful and watch that one. Looking at the Aussie, obviously the Aussie is just reacting off of news, so you're going to see this one jumping all over the place. Again, it's not Aussie news, it was New Zealand news, but again, you will see the carryover. And again, tomorrow night is non-farm for them, so keep a track. For the people with the scanners, keep track of this one. And then again, looking at your CAD basket. CAD, obviously oil's moved to Thursday this week, so CAD's going to be a little bit flatter. But right now, if you guys are looking at this, you're seeing a lot of sideways up confirmed, meaning that when this one starts to pull back at all, you're going to have an uptrend setup.
Okay. Same thing with the dollar CAD. You're going to have an uptrend setup. Pound CAD, uptrend setup. Aussie CAD, again, same thing. You're seeing all this CAD weakness literally across the board. And again, CAD yen, what are we seeing? Downtrend confirmed. So we get any type of pullback in this one up. It just did. It pulled back, and now it's a downtrend setup. So you should be looking for CAD yen setups. And again, I didn't cover that one tonight, but I'll look at it real quick. And then CAD Swiss, same thing. You're seeing a downtrend here. So we are seeing CAD weakness across the board right now. Again, see where your zones are, potentially jump onto that. Those are the type of situations where we'd be looking for an overnight trend, right? Use the skills that you have. And again, overnight trend, we can trade it with Nadex and we can trade it with spot currency. So there's two ways to do that. So let me switch over real quick and go back to charts. Let's see what we've got here. All right, so we talked about this before. We had this zone, and we wanted to see if we were able to break it. Again, it spent a lot of time kind of bouncing off the bottom of it, and you guys can see this top channel was actually respected a few different times. But this wasn't enough room for us really to trade, right? We were talking about it only being about 18 pips, but you guys can see we bounced here at 1 o'clock in the morning. We bounced the bottom size at 5 o'clock in the morning. We came back and bounced the top again at 9:30. We bounced through the bottom actually at what, 3? And now we finally put a concerted effort. We've actually broken the bottom and now it pulled back and it's looking for more. So, the next kind of level down is only about 30 pips. So it's not a ton, but again, it's pushing down and we could potentially be looking for long entries. And the reason why I'd say look for long entries at that level is because this is actually based off the daily. So again, nothing too much now. It's a smaller position. You're not able to trade it in Nadex. But what we can do is start getting ourselves set up. We can start marking off zones here and saying, where is there anything that's really nice to the top side? Once it continues, obviously, the break to the bottom. As you guys can see, let's bring this all the way across there. Okay. That's where we're looking to start. That's an area we're starting to look for entries. Let's go back. We're actually going to shorten this a bit. Okay, and again, right here, last time we hit this area based off of this zone, we know that price bounced almost immediately. So I'm looking for potential areas to start going long over here if we're able to get down in this area. And what are we seeing? Again, let me drag the scanner back over. CAD weakness across the board. So that CAD weakness leads into something over here that I can look for. So if you're not looking at it, definitely in position to look for. Okay. All right. So there. So again, just some review tonight. Again, many different out there. As I'm going through my review, make sure again there's 14 of you guys on here. Make sure that you guys hit the exclamation point ticket. We'll end up doing the drawing in a second. But just to review this, guys, we've had a lot of different things that we are actually able to trade. And a lot of people are forgetting about strategies. And one of the things I don't want you to do is have a strategy, make some money off of it, and then try to learn a new strategy and forget some of the other ones that you started already doing. Again, a lot of you have the 30-minute trader but are not using it anymore. Make sure you go back there and do it again, at least for news breakouts. Again, combine news breakouts with parabolic retracements, and you can play this, 6 different ways to Sunday. If you're just a Nadex trader, absolutely play it up, play it back down again, take both sides. Again, that obviously covers your risk. For basically everything pound and euro base right now, it's all sideways. So if you're looking for things to trade, again, put some small positions on, trade some butterflies, get used to those sideways markets again. And again, any butterfly trade, all right, I'm going to bring these down here. For all your butterflies, combine your butterflies, right? I'll put it this way. Combine your butterfly trades with box it off top and bottom. You're using what you learned here in your supply and demand, right? Go with this one. If you guys ever see Ernest do it, that's how Ernest does it. He's using what he learned in the Forex Master Course and combining it with Nadex butterflies, and that's his little secret Aussie yen trade every single Friday is based off of these two classes. Again, here's one combo. See how these combos are working? That being said, let's see, who are we missing tonight? Who do I need to give a hard time to? I don't see Ryan. What's we missing here? Vic is here. I'm glad that Vic is here. Angry Mac is not here tonight. Bryan is missing tonight. Sure who Commander Root is, but he's been watching. Q is, I don't I'm gonna have a little conversation with Q. Where's Silent? Silent won last week and we haven't seen him since, so we'll have to find him. Get him back in here. All right, there we go. Ryan's in with 2. And JK, Will, are you in here? Okay, Will's up here. All right, JK's in here as well too. All right, so I know, get Q. We're gonna get Q. We'll get him. Give him a hard time in Discord, guys. Everybody should do an at Q. Be like, where are you? James, that's your meme for tonight. Get a milk carton. Find like a funny milk carton picture and put like Q is missing underneath of it. All right. All right, guys. I'm gonna shut this down. Let's see. Close the giveaway. Let's draw a winner, and the winner is Ernest. In there again. I think because somebody called him a hacker. That's what it was. He only had a 7% chance of winning tonight, and somebody called him a hacker. So we will give Ernest his 25 pip chips for tonight. Ooh, look at this. Ernest has officially broke 1,000. Bam, look at that. First person to 4 digits. Look at that. Yeah, Ernest holds a record. Ernest is literally holding on to these things. And, like I said, that the meme earlier, the Homer Simpson one with all the gold and everything about, Ernest is hoarding his pip chips. I was literally like dying. Like I was dying. I thought that was absolutely hysterical. I'm gonna get one with like a mountain of let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Oh, I can't find it. Oh, there's no good one right now. Looks like we're gonna have to make one. I'll have to find one. I can't find it. I saw a really, really funny one. I'll just have to post it. So, the rich get richer. Will. All right, guys. With that being said, if you guys want to screenshot this, you're more than welcome to. If not, I can stick it on there. Maybe I'll pull some of these off, and I'll just screenshot it, and we'll put those online. So that way, certain people can see what they missed tonight. All right. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to bounce and get out of here. It's 10:15. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate kind of looking at this and talking about it. As I said, I think it's a good reminder to make sure that everybody is using different strategies and different setups. And again, try to expand the repertoire, not just kind of working on one thing. Try multiple things. I mean, as the markets change, strategies differ. There's a lot of flat market out there, and I haven't heard anybody talking about butterflies lately. And again, we use a lot of 2 hours because those are really good. Nadex hasn't kind of gotten funky on those yet. But again, the 5 minutes are the same exact thing. There's really no difference, especially in these retracements during the day, or even at night, actually. They're easy to take care of, and again, they're small and very small bits of movement. The same strategies you guys are doing. Keep that risk low, take your profits quick, and laugh all the way to the bank. All right. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. I will catch you guys tomorrow.